Now available for the first time on Google Play, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are falling apart in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy on Google Play today. A Staten Island man was arrested for allegedly abducting his girlfriend, binding her with handcuffs and shackles, physically assaulting her by punching her in the lip, the eye, and the face, slamming her into a wall and striking her with a belt before throwing her onto a bed and sexually violating her. Now, in this incident, Alexander Isaac allegedly held his girlfriend captive inside of his mobile home on Central Avenue near Slauson Terrace in Brighton Heights, where he sexually violated and abused his girlfriend before she was able to escape being bound with these shackles and handcuffs and be able to go to the 120th Precinct Station House, where she reported to the police how she had been tortured and sexually violated by Alexander Isaac, according to reports. Now, when the police went to arrest 30-year-old Alexander Isaac, they not only found evidence as related to this sex crime, but they also found evidence as related to a pipe bomb, and they found parts for a 3D printed ghost gun. Now, the police are seeing this sex crime as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the behavior Alexander Isaac allegedly participated in, it fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And when I take a look at Alexander Isaac's alleged behavior, it fits the pattern and profile I talk about in the chapters The Sexual Frustration of the Beta Male and The Sexual Deviancy of the Beta Male. And when it comes to many of these beta males, they don't have relationships with people in the real world. No, they have relationships with people in a place called the secret world. And in the secret world, the beta male feels safe and secure about participating in natural masculine behaviors like expressing their sexuality. This is something that they feel ashamed of participating in public with other people. And because they only feel safe about participating in their behaviors in the secret world, many of these men wind up detaching from the reality. And because they detach from reality, they no longer see their people that they're involved with in relationships as people. No, when it comes down to the way they express themselves sexually, many beta males don't see expressing themselves sexually as a natural part of life because they have been taught to be ashamed of their natural sexuality. So what they do is look to go to the secret world where they feel safe about participating in this behavior. And many women will get involved with a beta male thinking, oh, I can have a relationship with this guy, not understanding that many of these men wind up living a double life. And as they're living this double life, the only place where they feel like they can have some sort of power is in that secret world. And that's basically what I believe Alexander Isaac created when he made this converted bus into a mobile home. He made a place where he could live in the secret world. And as he was living in the secret world, he felt safe about being able to be the man he wanted to be. And this was a place where he felt safe about participating in behaviors like creating pipe bombs and going out here and creating ghost guns, because he felt like this was a way for him to be safe about expressing his natural masculinity. And this was the safe space where he felt that he could be the man he wanted to be. Now, I believe he wanted to go out here and he wanted to be able to have more power. And the way he had power was to go out here, and as he had this girlfriend, he wanted to go out here. He didn't want to have a relationship where he could bond with this woman through a sexual act, No, what he wanted to do was go out here and be able to have power over this woman. And the way he felt like he could have power as related to expressing himself sexually was by breaking down this woman he had been involved with. Because when it comes down to beta males who live in the secret world, for them, sex is not about pleasure. No, sex is about power. And because sex is about power, it's about breaking down a person. And this is what this Alexander Isaac, I believe, wanted to do with his girlfriend. He wanted to have power over his girlfriend. So this is why he abducted his girlfriend. This is why he went out here and beat and tortured his girlfriend, because he wanted to see her being broken down in front of him. And as he saw her being broken down in front of him through this physical assault and taking away her agency by abducting her, it was all about taking away her power and ability to have control over herself. So this is why he abducted her. This is why he bound her with handcuffs and shackles so that she could have no control over the sexual encounter. And as he was doing this, he was beating her up because he got pleasure from taking away her ability to have agency, taking away her ability to have power in the relationship, taking away her ability to be able to share in the relationship. No, it was all about him having power. And as he was having this power and beating her up, allegedly, he was saying that you made it worse for yourself as he was beating her, because his ultimate goal was to break this woman down, and he wanted to break this woman down so he could violate her using his body as a weapon, and he wanted to violate her most intimate space. He wanted to destroy this woman's mind and destroy this woman's spirit, and he wanted to destroy this woman's mind and body and spirit because he felt powerless about his own life. And that's what many beta males do, because they feel powerless about their place in the world. And he did this all on his converted bus, where he created his, again, secret space. And again, many people will think, oh, he's just creating a mobile home out of this bus. He's just doing some odd things. But no, when it comes to beta males, they create these things to create a, again, secret space for their secret world. And they do this because they want to keep their world separate. And this beta male basically wanted to keep his world smooth, where he would live his life on the outside, but he would have his secret space on the inside of this bus. And as he had this secret space on this bus, he went out here and again broke this woman down, and broke this woman down in a way that basically just destroyed her body and traumatized her mind. And this is the type of behavior that beta males participate in, because again, relationships with a beta male usually are not about love. No, they are about power. And the relationship, because it's about power, it's about controlling the woman. It's about breaking the woman down, and it's about making the woman just crumble and feel worthless, because the beta male wants the woman to feel just as worthless as he feels about himself. And the only way he feels any semblance of self-worth is by seeing another person destroyed in front of him. However, thank God this woman was able to escape this man, because this type of beta male, because usually in many cases they want to keep their world smooth, after they participate in these crimes, what they usually do is sadly take the life of their victims. But this woman, thank God, was able to escape this monster, and she was able to go to the police precinct and being able to report this crime, and the police were able to find this Alexander Isaac, and they were able to find this Alexander Isaac before he could do this to another woman. And hopefully the prosecutors here in New York won't go out here and give this guy a pass with bail reform, because this predator needs to be off the street, and this man is a danger to everyone around him. And again, sadly, he's a danger to everyone around him and a threat to everyone, because with these type of beta males, once they feel that rush of power from breaking one woman down, they usually go after another woman and another woman. This is what I've learned from my research from doing the historical men in crisis. And as I've done research on these historical men in crisis, I'm looking at Alexander Isaac's pattern, and Alexander Isaac's pattern fits that of many of these other killers that I've seen, like an Ed Gein or many of these other types, and thankfully they stopped him before he could escalate his behavior to the level of sick men like Paul Orgorzow or other sick men that I've done videos about, because when I look at this behavior, again, it fits that pattern that I've seen from guys like Paul Orgorzow or Jerry Boudros. And again, this individual, I'm hoping that if he's guilty of these crimes, he is sentenced to life in prison, where he can wind up having to deal with Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, and Melvin, and they'll turn that tight end of his into a wide receiver. And as he's receiving the rods of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, and Big Dave, as they're trading him for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light, packets of Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand lemon cookies, six-pack chicken fingers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, that is what this guy will be traded for inside of the penitentiary, as they are spit roasting him and trading him for commissary, because they don't really like these kinds of males inside of the penitentiary, because a man who commits a sex crime is one of the worst type of monsters out there, and this guy was basically another one of those kinds of monsters, and hopefully he will be taken off the street before he can go out here and harm another woman and destroy another woman's life. But when I look at this case again, it just shows me how much worse the man crisis is getting inside of this country, because many people, they're sitting there, they don't understand how much worse the country is getting, because these beta males, we have over 100 million of them due to the dysfunctional way that they're raised, and some of the most dangerous beta males you will ever encounter are the ones who participate in sex crimes. The most dangerous beta males out of all of the beta males aren't just the mass shooters, they are the sex crimes, sexual predators, and the sexual predators, these are some of the sickest and most depraved individuals, and that's the scary part about it, is you never know whether you're dealing with one of these guys, because many of these men, they hide their whole sexual past in a secret place, so you never know what type of deviancy this man is participating in, and you never know what type of ideas he has, because many of these beta males who participate in sex crimes, many of these men start out with secret stashes of porn. They start out from watching the fantasies in pornography, and as they watch the fantasies in pornography, they escalate their behavior to watching more deviant porn, and as they watch the more deviant porn, they start to look to further escalate their behavior to social interaction, and they go from social interaction by participating in doing things like picking up prostitutes and participating in fetishes with prostitutes, to looking to get more of a rush as related to the sexual acts they participate in. And the ultimate rush for a beta male who is in crisis is to go out here and participate in heinous sex crimes, and they get pleasure from making people suffer. And again, these guys are extremely dangerous, and again, some of the most dangerous ones, because these guys are extremely insidious. You never know what these guys are into, because they keep their world separate, and you never know what they're into until they ultimately come out and reveal themselves. And that's the scary part about beta males who are sexual predators. You never know what they're into until they reveal themselves, because these men, again, they live in a secret world, and the only way you find out the secret, sadly, is when somebody sadly becomes a victim. And that's the scariest part about these beta males. But the whole thing is, America refuses to acknowledge the man crisis, and America refuses to acknowledge the danger that these men are to society. Because again, we've got 100 million of these guys out here, and their violent behavior is a part of a spectrum, and this is one of the more extreme parts of that spectrum of violent behaviors. And we need to acknowledge this man crisis in this country, because so many people are suffering as related to their extremely dangerous and deviant behavior. And sadly, this woman, she got in a relationship with this man, not understanding he was possibly a man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn more about what leads to a male winding up becoming a man in crisis and becoming dysfunctional like this, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble, and also Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos about men in crisis, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App, and that'll allow me to make more videos to help talk more about men in crisis and help get people more informed about the behaviors of men in crisis. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today.